Hit the thank you. All right, so and I see Al. Al, glad to see you. You had a nice trip. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Yep, I'm back. We just landed around noon today. Got back down here. So we're back.
So Al is a co-state director, and I'm your director, your state director, and so thank you guys for joining tonight, 7:06 p.m. I want to. I don't. It doesn't look like Jonathan's on tonight to give a national update, but there is the call tonight after this one at 8 o'clock, and several of us are going to be on that call because we are honoring Sammy Hammers, a longtime volunteer, and she was put in hospice, I think, about a month ago. No, maybe now 2 months ago. And some of us went down to go visit her. And yeah, so we each get 1 minute. Do you think you can do that, Edna, in 1 minute? It's hard to put Sammy into 1 minute, right?
Yeah. I know what I want to say if it doesn't come
Okay.
out all right.
You want Edna to talk for only 1 minute?
I know, that's what I was saying.
Miracles do happen.
Who's
Oh,
got the
have to
gun?
tune in to be able to see it.
So yeah, so Sammy is she was always the volunteer in the background and cleaning up those databases for us, that we need them now. Legislative session, we're printing them off, giving them to our legislators, and so we don't want any Mickey Mouse petition signers and Daffy Ducks and whatever other names they come up with. And so she was always in the background cleaning that up for us. So join us tonight if you can. Other than that, let's move on to Mike Deffendahl to give us a legislative update.
Hey everyone, I think everybody here knows me. Mike Deffendahl, your liaison. So legislative session is proceeding. I posted up in the Capital Brigade channel some important dates. I won't go over them all, but just a few really critical ones. April 20th is the last realistic day for a committee to hear a bill and have a shot at passing. And the 27th is the last realistic day for that said committee to get its report out to have a shot at passing. And let's see. And then we'll start getting in
Which means we have
the
about 2 weeks left, right?
right. So yeah, if we haven't got a firm count on our whip count in the House and communicated that if we do have the right count to Representative Hunter, that needs to hapen.
Yeah,
So
we've done that with Hunter. It's time now for him to call it.
So we're telling him we have the votes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so at this point we've done what we can, but we just need to. The biggest thing we probably need to do is get that House whip count up well beyond 76. So we need to. I had also posted the list of all the yeses from 17 that hadn't committed. That's probably the focus, is to get commits out of those people, and then once we do that, then we can get some of the folks that are new since the 17 session and get them on board. But the people have already voted yes. They have no reason to not get behind this. Let's just let them say, hey, this is coming. Can we count on your vote? It's that simple. So I asked the teams going out there to keep at it, and then if you can get your reports up to the Slack, we can update the whip count so we can have some good visibility of what's going on. The only other thing I have to say is only movement I've seen since last we talked is the Senate Bill 175 banning the taxpayer-funded lobbying has at least been placed on the intent calendar in the Senate, which means it's free to, when the president of the Senate, whoever has the gavel that day, wishes to bring it up to the floor, they can. My guess is they wouldn't have put it on said calendar if they didn't have the votes. That's kind of the way they work. So the fact that it's ready to come out there means they have the votes in the Senate. So once that passes, all we need to do is get the companion bill to get its day in the court in the House. Yeah, that's gonna be a harder one, as we found out last session. But sooner we get ours out of committee, the sooner we can try to get uh the abandoned taxpayer funded lobby out of committee as well. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you for that update. Henry, I see you're on. Do you want to give an update from a Capitol Brigade perspective?
You hear me?
Yes.
No. Okay. We talked to a couple of the people. One of the things that we didn't get done was talking to Garen, which was on that list. But we had a fairly long talk this morning with Cody Basut, and it was John Von Compernal, myself, and Richard, and let's see, Charles Thornburg. We were all in there talking, and we probably talked for about 30, 45 minutes about some of the possibilities of what were going on. And the general consensus is that probably SJR 36 and HJR 35 are not going to get hearings, and they're going to be, they being the House, is probably going to try to get the Senate SJR 52, which is the 8-year extension, but going to try to get it through.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not even a real guarantee that they're even going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're just kind of looking at trying to see, what we can do to get some of these people motivated to do something, move one of them at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Right now, it just seems, like we're running up against a brick wall. I mean, there's people that say they're going to support it, and there's some of these people that, like Ellen Troxclair, she has told us many times she supports it.
Yeah.
She hasn't signed on to the as being a co-author.
Yeah.
But some of these people are telling us even if they sign on it being a co-author, that they don't even know that that's going to really help us out any.
Yeah.
So I don't know, we're kind of feeling like we're running into a brick wall here with some of these people, and I don't know what we can do, how we can do it. Right now, it just seems like we're, just entertaining ourselves at this whole deal.
Mm-hmm. You've visited everybody, right? Is that's what you're saying?
We've talked to most all of
Yeah.
the people that have supported us in the past and that have told us they're going to support us. But just getting the leadership to do something is, I mean, I don't know what we can do, what more we can do to that.
Right.
As far as the Senate goes, it's out of their court. They've already done 52.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm saying is it looks like 52 is going to be the only last chance that we have of getting anything past this session.
Right.
So as far as with Cody picking up that bill and getting it to the one of the committees in the Senate, and I mean in the House, and getting it passed in time to be able to do us any good, it's getting slimmer and slimmer as the days go by.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Oh, well,
we're trying to figure out what we can do in that, and the main thing is putting pressure on the committee.
Yeah.
But it has to be assigned to the committee. That I don't think it's the Senate bill. We found out today that today was the first day that they started referring Senate bills to House committees for hearings.
Oh, okay.
So we're not behind or by any means on any of that stuff, but getting that bill passed, that SJR 52, it looks like that's going to be our best bet,
Yeah.
and that's the 8-year extension.
Hmm.
So uh, I, I I don't know what else to tell you. It's not necessarily what we want to hear, and not the good news or anything, but that's politics. It's the way it works.
Yeah.
It's what happened in 17, and we had to take it then, and if we have to take it now, we will. So Henry, a quick question for you. Back to Troxclair. What's her hearings about her own bill? Her taxpayer funded lobbying bill. What's she hearing?
That's another thing it's filed and everything, but as far as getting a hearing is where the problem comes in. There, we talked to her a little. Well, we talked to her staff. We didn't get to talk to her directly, but we don't know where it's going to end up and what's going to happen, if it's even going to get assigned to a hearing in a committee. I don't know.
Well, just like we had to take, we wanted to take Cody Fasat's lead on CTAs for his bill. The same with Troxclair on her bill. If she wants us to motivate the grassroots to start hitting the phones and hitting the emails and things, we got to take the lead from her. It's her bill.
Right, but from the way our read or our take on that thing is, and I say ours, I'm talking about the Capital Brigade people, and that we're kind of feeling like we were or led to believe that our own bill is the one that we needed to be focusing on, and until that gets done, we really aren't, at liberty to be.
That is the focus, but we can kind of walk and chew a little bit of gum at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I understand. I'm not saying that we can't, and we have talked to her about that. I believe it's 30. I can't remember the number now. It's 36 or 3976 or something like that.
3538 is her bill.
What is it?
3538 is her bill.
Okay, 3538.
Middleton's counterpart.
Right, and her. Our deal was, we've talked to her and said that we support that. We have supported it in the past, and we've worked with Middleton when he was back in the House. That we're wanting to help with that bill, but our understanding, being the Capital Brigade people, is we're not actually. We didn't think it was right for us to go around advocating for support on that bill when we're still trying to get our own legislation passed.
Oh no, and you're not doing anything wrong. I was just, but she's got. She kind of want to know what her own plan was to get her bill passed.
And that is that there's hardly anybody that is actually co-authoring. I don't know if you've looked at it or not. What I think there's only like 2 or 3. Something. There's not very many people that have co-authored that have signed on to it, showing any kind of support. Now we've talked to a couple of people about it, but
she has no co-authors on her bill.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. It was real low numbers if there was any. That's what I was getting at.
Zero.
And so
Al has his hand raised. He wanted to ask a question or make a comment.
Yeah, Henry, did you get the sense of any feeling or anything come across that Birdwell took the wind out of our sails by launching 52 and pushing it as fast as he did? Is Cody looking in it from by? Because listening to Birdwell on the surge day up there, he was lukewarm about it, kind of like a backhanded compliment and everything. But does Cody feel that's what's happened here?
He wouldn't give us any kind of ideas or speculation on his, but that's what he told us. He said anything that he said would just be strictly speculation. He did not really delve into what he felt like was happening. It's just that he knows that there's apparently more effort at getting 52 passed by the I guess you'd say that the top three, which is Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Patrick and Phelan. Those three are, it seems like
They want 52.
from their perspective, they're satisfied with the 8-year extension.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what he's kind of getting at. I mean, he feels like his bill is not going to go anywhere anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to end up being that SJR 52.
Tom has his hand raised.
Hey,
Thank you.
Henry, just, I was curious, I know you've talked to Cody before about how to get that SJR 52 assigned to him and that he was trying to do that. I just wondered if you got any more insight from him as to how that happened that might
Yeah, he
indicate
did
how
not
we
have
can help.
anything. He did not have anything more to say about it. That's his plan was still trying, and he's been talking with the parliamentarians and stuff, and the germaneness of having adding an amendment to it, which would pretty much be the same as what HJR 35 is, which would
Well,
be eliminate the sunset clause altogether.
Yeah, I wasn't even going there. I was just trying to get SJR 52 into a House committee to move it forward. I just wondered if there's anything we can do to help get it assigned to Cody or get it as where we would help, where we might.
Well, that's what we
apply
was
pressure.
asking him. We asked him that what we could do and what where we could, if there was any pressure we could apply to any particular person or committee or whatever. And right now, it's just, I guess, at a standstill. We're still waiting to see what happens. Today was the first day that they started referring bills from the Senate that were cleared in the Senate and sent to the House. Today is the first day that they started assigning them to House committees for hearings. So he wanted to find out, what committee it's going to be. We're assuming that it's going to be the same committee.
State Affairs.
I was to, which is the House State Affairs Committee, but it hasn't been assigned yet.
Right.
And so it gets assigned, then we'll know what to do and have some kind of a idea of what direction we want to go. And until that happens, there's not a whole lot we can do.
Is that when it
I
gets
didn't
a House number?
realize that today was the first. See, we didn't realize that today was the first day that they started
Referring.
actually assigning bills from the Senate over to House committees for hearings in the House. So we're still early in that process.
Everything was delayed, I think, 30 days in this session. They didn't get started till
by
We
choice.
talked a little about. Yeah, we talked to, and he seems to think that
you're cutting out, Henry.
at this point, last session. Do what?
I said you're cutting out. We didn't quite get what you said. Are you driving or do you have a headset on or? Are you there?
So assigning bills from coming up from the Senate belongs to one person and one person only, the guy with the gavel.
Yeah.
The guy with the gavel. Yeah. All right. So that's so what here's some things that we can do. We did a call to action last week to the committee folks, right? But what we can do is do a call to action to Phelan to have him assign it. the entire state call Phelan.
So
So we would need to know from Cody if that's what we need to do.
I'd hold off on that. I mean, has he taken a long time to do anything from the Senate? Yes. Am I happy about that? No. But let's not make him our enemy.
Right. But we would need to know when, like
Oh,
that.
yeah, oh yeah, we have to figure out when the when is. The good
Yes.
news is if we talk about 52, because it's already halfway through,
Mm,
it's not like we're on the same deadline as we are on
yeah.
just getting out. One has to do the whole process.
Mhm.
So yeah, we have like until deep into May to deal with Senate bills, but that doesn't mean we want to wait that long.
Alrighty, we good with that topic? Um, anything else? Tom has his thumbs up. um, and while we're talking about Tom, I'd like to jump to the topic of, the CEC meeting that happened with, because we did talk about it. I think we did talk about it last week or the week before last, where we had John Stufflebeam, former regional captain who wants to be a precinct chair, as well as a district captain in Collin County who wants to be a precinct chair. And if you guys remember, we talked about how they got vetted. And by the third interview, it was JBSers and they got rejected. And so we have an update on that. So, Tom, do you want to give that update?
Yeah, and I guess John's vetting is actually technically still in progress. So yeah, so they were Terry Wade, who's he's like the executive administrator to the county chair, reached out to Russ to actually ask kind of what happened, what's going on. Because she was looking him up and seeing that he was a hard R Republican and that the seat was empty. So she was kind of going, why is this not happening? So he filled her in and she asked him, and then she asked John to come to the SREC meeting last night and kind of present their case. There was some communication breakdown, but basically the two guys at the end of the meeting of the regular business, they were given time to talk about themselves and why they want to be a precinct chair. And I think they both did a really good job. And John injected some great humor into his, in that he made a comment while he was talking about how he'd worked on campaigns and he'd put up signs and he'd block walk. And then he said, and I'm informed by the party that I'm one of the most generous donors that they have. And the proof of that they keep sending me letters where they say that to me. And I bet several of you get these similar letters that let you know that you're also one of the best donors that they have. Anyway, he brought kind of the room down laughing on that. Anyway, there was actually a precinct chair that tried to make a motion just to accept both of them. But it was ruled out of order because they were done with all their regular business for the meeting. And what the chair asked for the committee to go back and look at the process again and come back to a recommendation to the SREC at the
It's
next meeting.
It's CEC, the
Or
county.
CEC,
Yeah, County Executive Committee.
that thing.
Yeah.
They come back to that next month with a recommendation, and then the precinct chairs would vote basically on accepting them in as precinct chairs. So that's a little bit different because normally it's like the vetting committee just does it. And there was some weird talk where like some people were people were shouting out things like, what's going on here? Why? And so it was a little uncomfortable, I could tell, for Abraham, because there are some JBSers that are precinct chairs, and I think they're on the vetting committee.
Abraham is county chair. Just Trying to
Yeah,
fill it.
Abraham's the county chair, but he said, well, John and Russ are both with Convention of States, but he did say, the Convention of States is in our party platform, and Convention of States was in the 15 legislative priorities for Republican Party of Texas. Didn't make it to the 8, but it was in the 15. And he said, so it can't be a reason why somebody can't be a precinct chair, certainly. But so it's going to be voted on next time. And then afterwards, Terry Wade, again, his executive assistant, caught Russ and said, hey, send me a letter, with your picture on it. That basically is like your campaign letter of why you want to be a precinct chair. And I'll send that out to all the precinct chairs. So she's trying to help. I know she's trying to help get these guys in, because she sees people that are good Republicans, that are solid people, that can dress themselves and speak in complete sentences, and so she'd like to have them as precinct chairs. So it's not over yet, but they'll be up next month, and I think they both did a great job presenting themselves well. And we talked with a bunch of people in the room afterwards too. And there were a bunch of precinct chairs that kind of sought those guys out and came and talked to them. I see that as a positive sign. So
Yeah. So what I wanted to say to that is, what if we were to do the same? Put our COSers in vetting committees and say no JBSers or no Eagle Forum folks. I don't think any of us would do that. I can't imagine, but it just blows my mind. It just blows my mind.
yeah,
That they think that we're that evil that we can't I mean, they would rather have a seat empty than to put a COSer in. So
it's very goofy.
it is. It's so odd. Anyways, okay. What else do we need to talk about? What am I forgetting?
I could mention one other thing. Sheila, who I saw on the call earlier, I don't know if she's still on or not. I'm scanning across all the little squares. I don't see her name anymore. Anyway, we've sent out surveys to 7 or so school boards here in North Texas with a survey. The survey's been updated a little bit, but it asks things like, would you support your school district leaving TASB? Do you think boys and girls should use bathrooms based on their biological sex? Do you think they should be in sports based on biological sex? All these things that shouldn't be controversial, but in this upside down world today it is. And so we've sent out several. I know I've got responses back from Plano and Frisco from all the races, and I've got some from McKinney. So we're gonna try to get those and publicize it here in a couple of weeks, and get it out to other conservative groups up here, and try to impact some of these races, because in every one of these races, there's like one conservative and either 1 or 3 crazies that they're running against. So it matters.
Mm-hmm. And I think we should do a text blast. What do you call it? The tech. Get out the vote. COS get out the vote. Text thing. We can do that too.
That would be awesome.
So, just need to make sure that we put that in now to Jonathan, because you know how long it takes.
Okay.
All right. Should we end early, or do you guys want to just kind of do open mic? Brian Digner, what do you got going on? What's going on in East Texas? You're always so quiet.
Well, I got a sore throat. That's what's going on. Got tore up by tornado Sunday night.
Oh no.
Trees down. Got my tractor tore up.
Oh no.
Just a good old day. One thing I was fixing to type in the comments, but y'all can go to Texas Scorecard and look at this. TASB threatens to sue school districts if they leave the TASB Association. Says after the Carroll ISD passed a resolution to leave the TASB, the association pushed back and so forth, and they're
That says
threatening to
everything
sue
about
school
them.
districts.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the things that I've asked me and some other folks that's on the school board with me, you know, who in the world came up with TASB, and you know, we've been to some of these TASB conventions and so forth with the school board, and it's just a freaking indoctrination camp as far as I'm concerned. I sat there and, you know, they've got, I'm gonna just go and say libtards. They got folks sitting there talking, and it's no wonder it's so crazy. But you know, I got up and walked out. I'm not gonna listen to it. But it's no wonder I know that what's his name out there in the McKinney area, Kyle. He was down there at our little retreat with Don Huffines. He was his guard down there. Kyle
Is that Sims?
Sims. Yeah, he's a big warrior out there in that McKinney area. And I Harleton out here where I'm at, we have our school board elections are during the normal November cycle. They're not in May, and they're not Saturday elections. And I don't know, probably some of that stuff. Well, I know just right down the road here at Longview, they do their stuff on a Saturday in May. And so you've got very low turnout. You know, folks just don't give up their Saturdays in May to go vote over a school board thing. But it's a sad state of affairs where we are, and it's just getting worse. I'm just instead of investing in Bitcoin, I'm just doing my 3 B's: beans, bandages, and the other. Because I think that's where we're going. But anyway.
So just so that you guys know, Brian was one of the precinct chairs in East Texas that censured Chris Patty last session, who was the State Affairs Committee chairman, and he did not push through what we wanted to push through. So Brian's a hero.
Yeah, we got Mr. Cornyn when after the convention, and actually talking about doing some more. They've got we just had a death, one of our precinct chairs, and actually just passed away, I think this past Saturday or Friday night. But they've got another resolution that they're, one of the chairs is trying to get on. It's another censure letter, so I've yet to see it, but it's in the works apparently. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And talking about schools, since we're on that topic, the State Board of Education is meeting April 11th through the 14th. So what is that, next week? 10 days, 7 to 10 days. So if any of you are interested in that, you'll want to go to the State Board of Education page and watch out for the, not the meeting minutes, the agenda, to see what they plan on talking about. Alice, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I just want to throw in. So I got invited by, and I forgot the name of the group, but I'll get it. It's Dara DeLoss and her husband. They came to my presentation a couple of weeks ago at Spring Creek, and they invited me over to Baytown for to go ahead and give a talk to their group. And I'll get the name. So I'm basically spreading the COS message. It'll be on the 18th at 5 p.m. and at the Luby's in Baytown.
Okay,
So,
cool. So yeah, put that in.
So I'll get the specific information. I'll put it on the events calendar, but it'll be good because it'll be outside the COS group. There's another conservative group, so
yeah,
we can hopefully then spread the message and get them on board as well.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, exactly. So for those of you that do not have monthly meetings, yeah, feel free to go and take that Prezi and share it. The Prezi is the presentation. It is conventionstates.com/presentation, and just read it. Just like Al did this last week at the Capitol. He just read it and said, just read it. It's duplicatable when you read it. People aren't afraid that they have to memorize anything, and just say, you can do this too in your home. It's conventionstates.com/presentation. All right. So looks like Edna just dropped off. She wanted to get ready for the next call.
Does Jeff Croyer, does that name sound familiar to any of y'all?
Croyer sounds familiar.
I believe he used to be the DC here, ahead of
Yeah.
Shelby, I believe. But anyway, so we had our precinct. I'm a precinct chair, so my precinct and 3 others. We have a local meeting once a month there and invite folks. We had some new people show up, but there were some questions about COS, and I did give them a deal. But one of the ladies, one of the precinct chairs, she, if any of you know Lee Lester, have heard that name.
Yeah.
He's our county chair. But she wants to get it on our meeting agenda to do a COS presentation, because it is one of the things, like you said, that's out there, and people do have questions that are precinct chairs, and
Yeah.
so I'll be hopefully here in the next maybe couple of meetings doing that presentation there for our.
Yes, you're right.
executive committee.
Jeff was a district captain. I have him as a district captain team member, being in Longview.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can use our database to recruit precinct chairs. So if you're interested in learning how to do that, let me know and I will walk you through it. We can do it in a nonpartisan way, and happy digging. So I think Art Brown is using it. He's had success. I've used it. I've had success. I don't know. I can't remember who else is using. Susan Valiant in Tarrant County wants to start using it. So just let me know, and I'll show you how. I can't do a recording and then share it with you guys, because when you do that recording of the database, it shows names and addresses, and then you just get kicked. The video gets kicked off of whatever platform, because we're sharing private information. So that's why it has to be done one-on-one training. So just ping me. All right. That's it. I'm going to end it here. You guys have a good week, and we will talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Happy
Steve.
call.
Night,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Bye.
Good night.